This partly complete design is for a development in an environmentally sensitive site in New Zealand. The local authority requires that the plant schedule includes information on pot size. If we look at the gCADPlus file that's attached here, let's edit the plant list, you can see the information on pot size is included. So that's cancelled on there. What's been done thus far is to run the standard plant schedule. If you run the gCADPlus plant schedule and draw the schedule with custom content, even though pot size is in there, that's not currently available to plot that in gCADPlus. Your first question down here in the command area is include this plant symbol, yes. Put the red markers in. We'll say no. Include a code. We'll say no. Include the botanical name, yes. The common name. Put the common name underneath the botanical name. We'll leave that at no. And now we're ready to go and input the text type. So we don't have an option at the moment to put a code in the plant schedule. Well, how best to cope with that? There's an option. Firstly, we'll come in here and say show symbols with names, so you can see that all the symbols that are in there have been tagged with a name. If we, for the sake of argument, zoom in on the design and we pick that species, now I can bring the mini plant layer down. You can see that's a hetero species. I would prefer the generic name to have a capital letter and the species name to be lowercase, but that's a side issue. So all the symbols have been coded. So what that means is that under gCADPlus, if you come down here to extract schedules, we can say extract a plant schedule. So all the information that's in the schedule and more, including the pot size, can be extracted. So let's put it on our desktop and we'll call it JSON, and we'll overtype the one that's there and we'll say OK. So now if we go to our desktop, we should have an Excel-like or a file, a CSV file, that can be loaded into Excel, and we can do the usual Excel trick of expanding things, and here's the column with our pot size. Some of them are missing, but they can be added at a later stage. We're not quite finished. As I said at the outset, this is not a complete design. We can hide those columns that we're not interested in. We haven't added a code here, so in this instance we can hide that column. There's the pot size. We could scroll from there. We are going to need the total, so we can hide those columns. So we've got botanical name, common name, type, pot size, and so on. We can highlight that and apply bold to it. So can you see we're starting to format our plant schedule? Well, the next step is to produce a graphic of this information that we can put back into gCADPlus. And there are lots of ways of doing it. You could use the Windows snip tool and draw a box and cut that information out. You could take a screen grab of this. Let's see if we can come down in here and type snip and activate the snip. And we'll say new. And the prompt is to drag around the information we want. So there's our graphic. So I could save that as a graphic, a PNG or a JPEG file or whatever. I can do further clipping. You can see here I've got the Excel. My screen clip wasn't all that great. But what I'm going to do now is just pop this into an image editor and just further trim it. And you may be interested in seeing that. Well, here we are in ifandView, which is a free and really excellent image editor. And what I'm going to do just is to use ifandView just to make a neater screen grab. So it's edit and cut out that section. I can resample it. It's 676 wide. I think I'll leave it at that because I want the maximum resolution that I can get, so I'll cancel that. So there's our file in PNG format ready to be inserted into gCADPlus. So I've returned to gCADPlus to the original plan. Here's the plant schedule that was drawn with the standard tool. What I'm going to do now is to move it well away and pop it over there. We can always add to our landscape plan. We can always add a new floating viewport should we need it. I'm going to take snap and grid off at this point. I'll leave polar on because what we now want to do is to add our plant schedule into this zone here. I'll just double click in here, and what I'm interested in is the floating viewport and its scale. So I'll just display on the layout and just select that floating viewport. It does have a fixed scale of 1,000, so this is obviously a very, very big site. So we'll leave it at that point. So we now have some scope to put our logo, information of the client name and so on, but what we're interested in is the plant schedule. How can we bring that in? Well, we've made a graphic, so it's a matter of draw and insert a raster image. We can add it from our desktop. We just called it capture, and we're going to insert it. So we can bring it in and pop it into position there. So as we zoom in, we can see that we're getting quite reasonable resolution, so we've got the information that we want. What we can now do is, what I think we need to do is to increase its size. What you want to do, of course, is to match the height of text in that graphic to the text information that's in the drawing. And we've got the chicken pen and vegetable gardens there, so we're looking at gravel driveway. It's not too bad at this stage, but I'd be inclined to increase it just a little. So our north indicator is just getting in the way, so let's go back to the model, and polar's on, so we should be able to pick the north indicator and just move it vertically down like so. Come back to the landscape plan, and because it's a graphic, we can just increase its size like so. I tend to hold the shift key down as I'm doing that to make sure there's no distortion of the image. And we've still got the 1, 2, 3, 4. I've picked the wrong one, haven't I? But I'm sure you're quite capable of going back to your drawing editor. A quick and dirty way of doing that would be to just draw a rectangle. That's my mistake, no one else's. And provided you were happy about the positioning, size and resolution of that graphic, you could put a rectangle there. Looks as though the designer here has left the line type at dashed, which is not what I want. I want a continuous line type, which I've now changed, and it put fill on, and you'd make colour white 255, and provided that that rectangle is on top, we'll just mask that area. That's a very quick and dirty, and not to do what I do what I say, not do what I do. So there's our plant schedule, including pot size and total number, brought from Excel into the gCADPlus environment. Although it tends to look just a little bit fuzzy, you'll find that when you print, you'll get quite a reasonable print from this. Well, just for interest, here's the final result. I've printed part of the drawing to a PDF file using the gCADPlus writer, and I'm very pleased with the quality of that plant schedule.